Hey fellow Force users, what is up? It's Jasmine, the Ahsoka Tano fan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, it is time for not one more episode of The Bad Batch, but two more episodes of The Bad Batch. As you guys know, there were two episodes that dropped today, so we're gonna try something a little bit different this time around. We're gonna try a 2-in-1 episode, which I believe this is probably the first time I've tried this before. So yeah guys, I'm super excited to get into the next episode. This season's definitely flying by. We're already past the halfway mark, which also makes me a little bit nervous. I mentioned in the last video that I don't really know how it's gonna end, and in particular I'm kind of nervous about Crosshair because they've been building up his character a lot, and in particular his relationship with Omega. I'm kind of almost getting similar vibes as I got to Tech's character development last season. So yeah, I'm hoping that Crosshair and the rest of our boys and Omega are going to be okay, but there's really no guarantee, especially with this being the final season. So we'll have to just wait and see how it all comes together. So last episode was definitely a great episode. We saw the return of Ventress, which was amazing. I love seeing her interaction with Omega. It was definitely a little bit questionable last episode as to whether or not Omega really was Force sensitive. I think there were certain times where they were definitely implying it. For example, when the Bad Batch thought Ventress was lying about saying Omega was not Force sensitive, it does kind of raise the question, was she lying, and is she just trying to protect Omega? And one of you had an interesting thought as well. When Ventress and Omega were out in the water and Ventress accidentally appeared to have called that creature, one of you had said that, is it possible Omega actually called that creature? And wouldn't that be an interesting twist if that were the case? Definitely would be interesting if she were Force sensitive, but on the other hand, I also kind of like her as just being Omega the clone. So I don't know how I'd feel if she actually were in fact Force sensitive and then she were to be trained in the ways of a Force like a Jedi. But yeah, I trust that the writers know what they're doing. So either way, I'm looking forward to seeing where her character goes, and hopefully if she survives this season, right? None of them are safe in my eyes. Anything is possible. Anyways, guys, I don't want to speculate too much. Without further ado, let's blast our way into episode 10 of The Bad Batch and check out what's in store for us. And then we'll talk about episode 10, and then afterwards we'll jump into episode 11 in the same video. Identity crisis. Wonder what that means. Okay, so is this Pabu we're looking at?
10, 20, 15.
Oh,
It was him. The kid can barely lift a vase that big.
Force sensitive kid, maybe?
We saw it.
Sorry. So sorry.
That's a Force sensitive kid right there.
Gifty.
Don't go saying things like that. You know what kind of trouble that could bring. Come on.
Exactly. Remember in the Clone Wars when Bane was kidnapping Force sensitive kids for Sidious? They were in danger then, they're in danger now. Oh, is he gonna alert the Empire?
I've got a tip for a class 1 bounty hunter.
A bounty hunter?
There's a key
Bane?
that might be interesting.
Wait, and I was just talking about Bane, guys. It would make sense that he would be in this episode because he's kidnapped Force sensitive kids before. Whoa. We still have to figure out who the specimens are.
Progress in the lab has stalled since Nala Se's confinement.
The Kaminoan can no longer.
Oh, she wants her released.
Do you trust me?
You wish to be the new chief scientist, Dr. Carr?
I believe I have earned it.
Hmm.
Let's begin by bringing you up to speed on Project Necromancer.
She very politely just negotiated a raise there. Wow, okay, so he's bringing her up to speed on this.
In addition to the assets in the sub-level containment chamber, you will be given access to the vault.
Man, he must really trust her. Either that or is he testing her?
The specimens within are now your responsibility. They are vital to this project.
The kids.
These particular 3 were selected because of their high M count.
Wow, so they're the specimens.
Children.
There are few adults left with such characteristics. Children are easier to attain and more agreeable to these subjugations. They're unaware of why they're here and what they possess.
That's evil, man.
The young clone's blood is the only binder that's proven to be compatible with their DNA to recreate their M count levels, and why Omega must be found.
Yep. My guess, guys, is that Emerie's gonna feel differently when she sees, now that she sees their kids, you know?
What is your name?
Dr. Carr,
Oh, he doesn't like that.
limit your personal interactions with the specimens. They are scientific assets, nothing more.
Of course, Doctor.
Wow. I really do not like this guy. He's a great villain. That kid's probably thinking of an escape, you know. Maybe he's playing dumb to get them to let their guard down. They're about to do a prison escape just like in Andor, right guys? Or should I say prison break? Oh my god, Bane's there, guys. 100%. That's definitely him. Who else is it gonna be, right? Oh my gosh, it's him. Bane. Oh my gosh. Toto. Remember he blew up his first Toto in the Clone Wars? So that tells him he's force sensitive, I guess. Wow. Oh man. Man. I swear guys, I had no idea that Bane was coming in this episode. This reminded me of the Clone Wars arc where he kidnapped the force sensitive children. I think it was called Children of the Force. But what are the chances? I'm excited to see him, but oh yeah, that guy snitched. I'm excited to see him, but at the same time, what he's doing is so evil, you know?
Hello, SP-54.
My name's Eva. What's yours?
Oh, it's a little girl.
You refer to me as Dr. Carr.
What happened to Mistress Nala Se? She said she'd find out for me.
Find out what?
When I'll be going home. Can you find out for me?
Oh, the heartstrings. Wow. The dark reality is they're not going home. He's about to do something. Shoot. I wish he thought about it a little more, though.
No!
Oh, no. He should have tried at a different time.
No! Let me out of here!
You're safe, SP-32.
That's not my name!
Does he look safe? Secure, but not safe.
I just want to go home.
Is that Hemlock? Oh, no.
Blasters are not necessary.
He's gonna make a run for it.
Don't!
Damn. Damn, this is pretty dark.
Your extreme commander. He's only a child.
I was following protocol.
Yeah, she's not gonna last in this position.
Is Jax going to be okay?
Jax? He'll be fine.
Jax. That name's familiar. Wasn't there a guy in the Clone Wars named Jax?
I have questions regarding your work on Project Necromancer.
You've been to the vault and seen the specimen.
They're children, like I was.
I had to protect Omega.
And what about the other children?
I did what I could.
There is nothing I can do. I don't have that kind of power.
Don't you?
I don't know, Emerie. You gotta really question the side you're working for right now.
Dr. Carr. A word?
He's not gonna want to kill that kid, is he?
Will be arriving today.
A new
Scorch is departing shortly to retrieve it.
Oh no.
I would like to accompany the commander.
That is not necessary.
Governor Tarkin requests you contact him at once.
Tarkin.
Do as you wish, Dr. Carr.
What's Tarkin have to say?
Additional funds have been diverted at your request?
That is correct. It is for a project that is of personal interest to the Emperor.
Which is what?
I'm afraid that's classified.
If this project fails to yield proper results, it won't bode well for your operation. Or for you, Doctor.
Oh, just threatened him. How did you work for an organization like this that threatens your life if you don't succeed? What were those diagrams he's looking? Oh, the clone assassins?
Update.
I tracked down the Trandoshan and pulled some intel out of her. She gave up the name of a pirate, has been in contact with the target.
Do not return without Omega.
The pirate is Fee, but which Trandoshan are they talking about? Bane. Always with the toothpick.
I'm here to inspect the specimen.
Toro, bring out the kid.
This specimen is younger than I expected.
Shoot, she's having a tough time.
How many others like this have you captured?
Oh, a lot.
I'm good at my job.
Yep.
It's all here, Mr. Bane.
Until next time.
Wow. So is that the only time we see him this season? Or given this is the last season, is this the last time we'll see him in the show? But yeah, Emerie looks like she is having an identity crisis. But no, she looks like she is disturbed. How can you not be, right?
Where is SP-32?
It is standard operating procedure for a subject to be isolated for 2 rotations following an escape attempt.
Wow. Basically in solitary.
Is everything alright, SP-54?
Oh, she's not talking.
You said Jax wouldn't be in trouble. He just wanted to go home. We all want to go home.
Yikes. Oh, that's Omega's doll. Oh, she gave the doll to Eva. She definitely has a heart still, and she does have a soft spot for kids. She's treating Eva like how she treated Omega, right? Okay. Shoot, guys, notice how the music is different. It's more somber. All right, guys. So yeah, so that was the first of this 2-part episode, or I'm assuming that it's a 2-parter since they're both dropped today. That episode definitely showed us a lot. First of all, I found it really disturbing. I'm sure you guys probably felt the same way. I think this episode was meant to be a bit unsettling. This whole time we've been wondering what's behind the vault, and this episode we found out that it was kids, children. I mentioned in the video earlier on that this kind of reminded me how when Bane was kidnapping Force-sensitive kids for Sidious, and then next thing you know, Bane showed up. And again, I honestly did not know he was going to show up this episode. I knew he was showing up at some point this season because we saw him in the trailer, but I didn't know that it was going to be this episode. So it just so happened that I made that connection. But that just shows that they've been pretty much doing the same thing for years and years, from the Clone Wars and now into the Empire. And there's one person who's always been behind it all, and that's Darth Sidious. This idea of experimenting on children is really disturbing. I think those who have a heart and have a conscience and still have morals are naturally going to be upset by this and see these young kids for who they are, which are children. But I think when you are so deep into the imperial agenda and doctrine, like Hemlock, like the clone troopers as well that work for Hemlock, you start to see people as being less human. They never once referred to them by their name or as kids. They've always talked about them as specimens. And even when Emerie said, but they're just children, they said, well, that'll make them more agreeable. And they won't really know exactly what we're doing. Like, oh my gosh, that's actually so disturbing that the Empire goes to such lengths to do this. I suppose that to play devil's advocate, you can make a loose connection to the Jedi as well. Young, Force-sensitive kids being brought to the Jedi Order from a young age to be trained as Jedi and eventually as soldiers. Even though Jedi are supposed to be peacekeepers, technically not soldiers, but we saw they were fighting in the war, right? So you could look at that as kind of also being disturbing. Someone like Ahsoka from a young age was taken to the Jedi Order and then basically trained for war, so to speak, you know, and same with the clones. So I guess you could kind of look at it that way as well. But I don't know, to my knowledge, they weren't abducted in the way that the Empire abducts these kids, and they also were not experimented on either. If you look closely, you can see similarities in terms of how the Republic operated and how the Empire operates. But you can tell with the Empire, there's still a lot less freedom of choice involved, and also I think the Empire crosses a lot more ethical lines. The Republic wouldn't experiment on kids in this way. Also, the Republic doesn't threaten those who work for them with death if they don't succeed. We saw Tarkin make an appearance this episode as well, and he basically told Hemlock that if this doesn't work out, it won't be good for your operation or for you. We're really just, again, getting to see all the different layers to the Empire and all the different ways in which they are morally corrupt and evil as well. And you really got to see that this episode. And in terms of Emerie, you could tell that she is really struggling here. And I mentioned it a couple times, but I think that the title identity crisis applies to her. All this time, she's been working for the Empire, yes, as a doctor, yes, but it was very easy with her not being able to tell who the specimens really were. But now actually coming face to face with the children that you're experimenting on, that's a whole different ball game there. You saw her have an attempt to actually have a somewhat human relationship. Well, technically, the kids are not human, they're different species, but you get what I'm saying. She was trying to have a personal type of relationship with these kids, even learning their names and whatnot. And then Hemlock just basically shut that down right away and said, no, you're not to interact with them this way. They're just specimens. As much as Emerie did abide by Hemlock's orders there, by the end of the episode, you see that she takes Omega's doll and gives it to Eva. And that can mean a couple things. On one hand, it tells me that she has a soft spot for kids in general, and she does still have a heart. She's not completely stone cold like some of the other people that work for the Empire. She sees these kids for who they are. That definitely shows the human side to her. But on the other hand, it kind of implies that she is still thinking about Omega, and perhaps she will eventually turn over completely to the other side and seek to protect Omega from the Empire, rather than helping the Empire track her down. And just something to add on here, during Emerie and Nala Se's conversation, Emerie mentioned that the specimens were children just like she was. And so are we to interpret from that she was also taken by the Empire as a child? And if so, was she also potentially experimented on? And hence, that's why she feels an extra strong connection to the children, because she sees herself in them. She did mention that she worked by Hemlock's side for years, but she didn't specify exactly how many years. If she is in fact a clone that ages at a more accelerated rate, is it possible that she is actually a similar age to Omega, and thus when she was first taken by the Empire, that would have made her a child? These are all questions that I have that I do hope we'll have the answers to come finale time. I also think too that by everyone, Hemlock and the soldiers, referring to the kids as specimens, it just helps them in their mind see what they're doing as being justified. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to have in your mind that, hey, we are experimenting on these specimens for a greater purpose than coming face to face with the actual truth, which is that no, like, you are experimenting on kids and you're exploiting the fact that they're unaware and that they can't properly consent. I mean, not that anybody could properly consent in this situation, but kids are especially vulnerable. They're not able to consent. They don't know what's going on. You saw the one kid, Eva, say repeatedly, I want to go home, when are we going home? So you know that they've just been told these lies about going home. There's few things, honestly, that are more evil than that, taking advantage of kids in that way. And so I think that the people that work for the Empire, they try and justify in their minds that that's not what they're doing. They're doing all this in the name of science and a greater good, but in actuality, that's not what they're doing. They're committing one of the most evil acts that you could possibly commit. That was just overall like really unsettling, and I think that was again the intent of the episode, just to show the lengths that the Empire will go to achieve their goals and to get what they want ultimately. And perhaps this is what made Nala Se change as well, because in the Clone Wars she was a lot different. We discussed this a few episodes back. Her interaction with Fives in particular, she was talking to him like he was just property and that he needed to be exterminated. Now Nala Se all of a sudden has seemed to have a change of heart, and she's very protective over Omega. Well, I think we kind of know why now, because she's been inside the vault and she's come face to face with these children who are just labeled as specimens. And I think that's enough to change anybody. And I think you can kind of see the change starting to happen with Emerie as well. Even Cad Bane, we know he's the bounty hunter and all he cares about is credits, right? But even he referred to the specimen as a kid. He said, Toto, get the kid, you know. So you know it's bad even when Cad Bane acknowledges that, yeah, like these are children, but the Empire doesn't. On the other hand, that also makes what Cad Bane's doing a whole lot worse, because he knows what he's doing and he acknowledges, yeah, I'm kidnapping a child, but I don't care, I'm doing it for money, you know. It's kind of like, ugh. Cad Bane obviously is a legendary character, but some of the things he does, it's hard to support that. So the other thing too is we know that the specimens in the vault are children, but there's still that other part which I thought was part of the vault, but I guess maybe it's not, where you have these incubators and we haven't quite seen what's in the incubators. I was wondering about that, but now I'm thinking that maybe that's where the clone assassins are held. That was initially what I thought was the vault, but no, it turns out that the vault is where the children are being held. You can tell even by the lighting how the kids are fooled. You know, they're kept in a very open space with bright lights and everything looks relatively peaceful. But then when that one kid, Jax, attempts to make an escape, all of a sudden lockdown's initiated and everything becomes dark and red. And I think that just kind of shows and symbolizes that the Empire may come across as being like this peaceful organization that's just trying to bring order and don't worry kids, you're gonna go home, we're just running a couple tests. But no, deep down there's so much of a darker and more sinister agenda behind all of this, and the kids saw a glimpse of that when that one kid attempted to escape, and perhaps that's going to make them start to kind of question, what are we actually doing here and are we actually going home? But yeah guys, overall great episode, disturbing episode, but really well done. And that's also one of the episodes we've had where we haven't had anybody from the Bad Batch, because obviously the last time we were on Tantus we saw Omega and Crosshair, but this episode just focused on Emerie for the most part. And we also saw Hemlock and Nala Se and the children, of course, and then of course Cad Bane. Yeah guys, anyways, definitely looking forward to the next one. So without further ado guys, let's jump into episode 11 now and check out what's in store for us. Point of no return. Didn't we have an episode called this before? Or no, maybe that was called Tipping Point from last season? Something like that. Is Fee? Yeah. So this is, I think, who they were talking about last episode. They mentioned something about a pirate that had been in contact with Omega.
The next time I give you an order to scour through the green goo, you scour through the green goo.
Oh my gosh, that's the clone assassin, isn't it? Oh! Is he about to hijack her ship or put a tracker in it? Or steal information, maybe? Well, droid, are you gonna say anything to her? Oh. Does she sense something's up? What did he do? Did he put a tracker in there? Did he steal information about her next stop? Like, yeah. Okay, now he's following her. It looks like it anyway.
The Trandoshan's intel paid off.
Oh, what am I saying? The Trandoshan must be Sid, right? That's the only Trandoshan I can think of that they've come into contact with that would know enough about them to aid the Empire.
I broke the encryption.
Oh, shoot.
She frequented a planet in the outer rim
Pabu? Oh no. Oh, we knew Pabu wouldn't be safe. And Ventress warned them, guys. She did warn them.
Keep loading up the ship. We'll be back.
Oh, so they are leaving somewhere.
At least bring me back an ice cone. No, make it two.
So maybe they won't be there by the time the Empire comes. Oh, those are the clones. Oh shoot, so they came back to Pabu. Where's Omega? Oh, there she is. With her friend.
Me too. But Hunter thinks it's safer for everyone if we do.
So, which treasures did you bring?
Oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Pabu was the first place that felt like a home.
Damn.
A piece of us is still here.
Wow. Oh, that hurts, guys.
You will come back, right? I hope so.
Is Batcher staying there or going with them, I wonder? Oh, Tech's goggles. Damn. You know, guys, one thing I'll say about this season is almost every episode they mention Tech in some way. Maybe not every single one, but the majority of the episodes have. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Wow. Took him no time at all. Oh, so now he's gone. Now he's gone hidden, so he can't be detected by their scanners? Damn. Any chance Ventress is still there to help them out? Oh boy. They're not gonna leave in time, are they, guys?
What is it?
He senses something.
Don't like it. Omega, time to go.
Oh. Please don't let this child get taken again. Please. Oh my gosh.
I've got eyes on the target.
Ground them and wait for the division. She must be recovered unharmed.
I know he keeps having to tell him that. Hurry up.
I'll see you soon.
Usually when they say that, it doesn't end well. Oh crap. Damn, Wrecker doesn't hear that? Oh, he does. Wow. Did that just blow up their whole ship? I thought that... Wow. I thought that that was gonna just do enough damage to prevent them from taking off. So now their only way off will be to... Oh no, to take the clone assassin's ship. Is Wrecker okay?
They've been compromised.
He's gotta be okay. Come on, Wrecker. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow.
Destroy any ships or sea skiffs in sight.
Oh, wow. We knew this would one day come, eh, guys? The Empire would come to Pabu.
Search every domicile until you find her.
What do you think you're doing?
We're here to collect a fugitive you've been harboring.
You can't just barge in here.
I've barely done anything yet.
Oh man. Yikes.
Until she's turned over to me, your island will burn.
Oh man. I admire this guy's courage, but he's talking to the Empire like they're supposed to care, you know? I don't have a good feeling about this episode. I don't think it's gonna end well.
Do this. It's our home.
Man. Oh no! I don't want Batcher to die.
How's Wrecker, AZ?
He is still unconscious, but his vitals are stable.
Oh, he's coming to now.
You can't deport us.
Where is your identification? Search the property.
Damn. The Empire are some bastards, eh? There you go. Shoot. Yep, okay. Hunter's got the right idea. If only Crosshair could take out the pilot.
My vessel's been compromised. I can't shake him.
Oh, he shot him! Wow, that is cold. Didn't even care about saving his buddy. All he cared about was crashing the ship so Hunter couldn't use it. Wow.
Hunter would want us to stick to the plan.
The Empire knows I'm here. They won't stop searching until they find me.
Don't give yourself up now.
My only choice is to let them capture me.
No way.
I can't let the people here suffer more because of me. If I keep my comm on me and turn myself over, you can track me to Tantus.
Won't they check her for comms though?
They'll search you and find it. It won't work.
Well then shoot a secondary tracker onto the ship that they take me away on.
It's not a viable plan.
The truth is, he just doesn't want her to be captured again.
Focus on the bigger mission, Crosshair. I'm just a small part of it.
He's attached to her. You could see it. It's so adorable. Is he about to light up that whole house? I thought I saw a flamethrower. Wow.
Stop. I surrender.
No, Omega.
Take me and leave the island alone. The people here are innocent.
What if they don't do that though? What if they take you and still burn the island?
Scanner for tracking devices.
Oh. They found one?
Give it to me.
But how can she do that when her hands are cuffed, bro?
Fine.
Oh. Maybe she has two on her. Come on, Crosshair. We're really relying on you, buddy. Hope your hand is better. It's Hunter. Why they gotta make these scenes so dark, guys? Can barely see. Is she trying to tell Hunter that Omega's been captured? Which kind of seems sad. Man. Come on, Crosshair. Oh my gosh. Oh no. He has to get that tracker on. If he doesn't, they are screwed. Oh, come on, Crosshair. Is he gonna do it? Do it, do it, do it, do it. Did he just miss? He missed. Unless Omega has a secret one with her. She must. In her hat, maybe? Or was she meditating just there? That's how it ends? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow, man. All right, guys. Well, that's not looking too good. It looks like Crosshair missed at the end there, which if that's the case is really unfortunate. I think he's gonna feel like he failed personally, especially given the fact that Omega and him have been spending so much time together and she's personally been helping him overcome the issues with his hand. The fact that when it really mattered, he couldn't come through, I think that that's gonna weigh on him a lot. Oh, yeah, he really needed to make that shot. But I'm kind of getting the sense also that Omega might have another plan up her sleeve. I don't know, by the end there, the way she took off her hat and was breathing slowly made me think that perhaps she had a second tracker, because they scanned her once and they found a tracker. She gave them a tracker, but they didn't scan her a second time, so maybe she had 2 on her or something like that. But either way, I have to believe that they have a second plan. Otherwise, that's not going to be good. I don't know how they're going to find her and follow her to Tantus. They're going to pretty much end up back at square one where they were before when she got taken the first time. Also, I was wondering if she was meditating at the end there, because if she were, that could mean 2 things. We know that her and Crosshair were working on meditation, so she was teaching him how to meditate so that it could heal his mind. Maybe that's her way of practicing that teaching that she went over with Crosshair to keep her own mind healed and calm. Or does it have something to do with her potentially being Force sensitive, because that was kind of hinted at the last episode with Ventress. So maybe that's foreshadowing that somehow if she does have Force sensitive abilities, she'll use that to her advantage to escape them. And you saw them mention Sid this episode as well, but off screen. I believe she was the one they were referring to when they spoke about getting intel from a female Trandoshan. I think because we haven't seen Sid at all this season, she kind of slipped my mind, so I was trying to think, was there another Trandoshan they came into contact with? But no, Sid must have fed them intel that led them to Fee, and then that led them to Pabu. Just really, it's so unfortunate, because at one point they had a decent relationship with Sid. They did her so many favors, and then only for her to turn against them in the end. Yeah, you know, Ventress did warn last episode that they were not as safe as they thought they were, and they were packing up to leave, but unfortunately not soon enough. And so we saw for the first time the Empire come to this peaceful planet. It was kind of, I think, foreshadowed last season when they dealt with that tsunami. That was a natural disaster, obviously, but you could look at it like it was a lurking threat that brought the planet almost to its knees, and they really suffered a lot of damage and had to rebuild. That threat could have definitely been foreshadowing and symbolic of the future threat they would face with the Empire, which we saw in this episode. And one more thing to add as well about Ventress' warning to the Bad Batch. Ventress warned them to leave, and that warning ended up being true. Also, in one of the earlier episodes of the Bad Batch, they were warned not to trust Sid either by that one man. I can't remember his name, but it was during that pod racing episode, I believe. He warned them that Sid doesn't always keep her end of the deal or something to that effect. And then Sid ended up turning against them. So it does seem like those that warn the Bad Batch, their warnings do end up coming true in some way. It's a shame that the Bad Batch, I guess, can't listen to these warnings right when they're being warned, because if that were the case, you could argue that they would be in a very different situation than the one they're in now. The Empire was just doing again what they do best. They just show time and time again that they don't care who they hurt and what they destroy. When they're focused on a goal, they'll do whatever it takes to achieve that goal, and in this case it was retrieving Omega. In the process of doing so, you saw them mistreat the villagers, you saw them destroy property, they were about to burn down that one person's house, just again showing how the Empire is very different from the Republic, because the Republic would not go to this extreme lengths to get what they want, but the Empire has no problem in doing so. I really liked how the Bad Batch worked together this episode. They really did try and come together for Omega, putting their lives in the line. You saw what happened to Wrecker there. I'm sure he's gonna be okay, but you know, he was affected by the blast there. You saw their whole ship blow up, so right away their ship blowing up in that way, you kind of knew that it wasn't going to be good, because that's pretty much their home, right? Wherever that goes, that's where home is. Seeing that get destroyed that way, you knew that something bad was happening and that their lives wouldn't be the same going forward. Also, what I noticed this episode too was Omega showed a lot of maturity as well. If you think back to when they first met Omega, she was kind of like the child in the group. They were looking after her. But in this episode, you kind of see a different dynamic where she's matured and she steps up and says, hey, you know what? This is not working. I need to turn myself in for the sake of saving everybody else's lives. Like that was very big of her to say. And you could tell that Crosshair was hesitant to do it. He kept saying that it wasn't a viable plan and it wouldn't work. But deep down, he really just did not want to see anything happen to her, because you could tell that he has become attached to her more than ever before. You could see it in his eyes. So even though Crosshair is usually rational in his thinking and emotionless, when it comes to Omega, he's a bit different. You could tell that there is some emotion there behind him not wanting her to give herself up, even though it really was the only viable option that they had. And what you also notice this episode as well, so many characters that we've come to meet and know over the last couple seasons. For example, we saw the young clones that we met this season, and then they had a role to play in fighting against the Empire. Obviously, we have Batcher in there, which is a creature that Omega befriended on Tantus. And of course, you have the people of Pabu, who we've come to know. We saw the young girl again. I think her name was Lyanna. I believe she's the daughter of the mayor, and her and Omega, obviously they built up a friendship from last season, and then we saw more of that in this episode. So you kind of felt like this episode brought together a lot of characters that we've seen from the past. And in this show, you never really know when you see someone if you're going to see them again. But I do like how they bring back previous characters that you might have not expected to see again, and they end up all having a role to play in the end. So yeah, guys, going forward, we have to really see what happens here, because you almost kind of get the sense that the Bad Batch are not meant to all be together, like all of them with Omega, because every time they try that, there's always something that stops them from being together. You know, obviously we had Tech's death last season. Oh, and I mentioned this as well, but I love how they bring up Tech from time to time so that his memory is not lost. In this episode, we saw Omega wanted to leave his goggles there, so that was a really touching moment. But yeah, last season we lost Tech, and then this season Omega has been apart from the Bad Batch twice. So the first time obviously when she was on Tantus with Crosshair, now she's been captured again. So it just seems like every time they try and become a family again, there's always something that's stopping them, and that kind of doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy in terms of how the season will end. I really don't know that we're going to get a happy ending with all of them together again, but we'll see, because this time around on Tantus things are going to be different, because as we saw in the last episode, Emerie's in charge now. She looks as though she is having a change of heart after seeing that the specimens the Empire is experimenting on are in fact children. Perhaps Emerie will somehow play a role now in helping Omega, helping to protect her, or perhaps helping her escape, or maybe she will help her relay a message to the Bad Batch so that the Bad Batch can find the coordinates of where Tantus is, and then they can come to her rescue, something like that. Either way, I think that Emerie is going to play a role this time around, so it's going to be different compared to when Omega was first on Tantus. But anyways, guys, yeah, great episode, great 2 episodes. You guys, as always, let me know down below in the comments what you thought and what your predictions are going into next week. And as always, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for an all new episode of The Bad Batch. Until next time, guys, take care and see you soon.